Hey class, welcome to week 10 and also introductions to ePortfolios, which is one of the assignments that's on the syllabus. And it's also the idea of synthesizing material that we've been covering in class today, up to now, and also moving forward. So in this recording, I want to demonstrate how we can create ePortfolios using Google Sites, and hopefully you guys will follow along with that. So, the idea of e-portfolios is that over the time that you are at UB, you do multiple classes, you create multiple projects, do homework assignments and things like that. And at the UB curriculum requires that you select artifacts from courses, or like this course, for example, to demonstrate, of your learning, right? But what UB requires us to do at the moment is to save your artifacts in a safe location. And what I want to I want to use Google Sites for the safe location of material for this class, and also giving you experience of demonstrating how to create little simple websites that you can share with potential employees, internships, people, or just friends and family or whoever. And this also links to one of the requirements of the UB curriculum. That's the UB curriculum 399, which is your capstone project, which you have to submit a variety of artifacts to, for that thing through UB portfolios. Um, and you can, so artifacts can include homework, coursework, and there's more information on the UB curriculum website, which is linked here. And I also post these slides on the class website, right? So, what are e-portfolios? E-portfolios are really designed to allow students to easily share their work and ideas with instructors, peers, across courses, and while at UB and after graduation. So a lot of my master's students, for example, create e-portfolios of their GIS projects that they're doing to show to potential employers that they can have the skill set needed to create these types of things, right? And the idea is that they connect ideas, work in progress, and potentially across classes. But here we're focusing just on this class, Geo 199, cities and complexity, and ideally engages you to be thinking more about activity and more active learning environments. And you can use these portfolios for professional purposes and so forth. And so if you apply to graduate school, it's useful to show maybe the graduate school what's your skill set. And you can use e-portfolios for those types of things. So in this class, we're going to create an e-portfolio, and the purpose of this project is for you to collect, analyze, synthesize information in the world or from the world around you with respect to cities and complexities, those things that we've covered in class. So what are you expected to do? You're expected to have 10 artifacts. That's going to be 10 different web pages in this sense, right? These can come from newspaper articles, advertisements, TV shows, films, comics, whatever, as long as they're related to the class themes of cities and complexity. One of the artifacts must be from a UB-sponsored event. That can be a presentation, a seminar. And I'll talk about how we can find out these things later on. But also of UB, yeah. And you can find these information from UB Spectrum, articles, opinions from UB Now, for example. And one part of this, from a UB sponsored event is that you pay attention to what's happening around on campus. So you're more engaged citizens in that sense, right? And you know, you also have to provide a summary of how these artifacts fit together and as part of this presentation. So the idea ideally is that the ePortfolio captures many of the learning objectives that we have for this class, right? So think critically about multiple modes of inquiry, um, analyze content, recognize debate, recognize things. By collecting these things, it's sort of here. And the portfolio sort of synthesizes all this material that we've talked about earlier. And of course, as I said with case study one, it sort of helps with understanding academic expectations in the sense that don't use plagiarism. If you are using information from elsewhere, say where that information is coming from, and provide sources for that, so references, for example, like we've talked about with case study one, and things in between those types of things. So, that's part of the thing. This portfolio, although we are still in October, it's going to be due the week just before the week of Thanksgiving. So Monday, the 25th of November at 5 p.m. Like normal, assignments that are late will be deducted 1 point for every hour it's late. And of course, I will not accept assignments if they're too late in that sense. So the key thing is why we have a long time. Um, Please don't leave this to the last minute because building the website, the portfolio website, and also collecting the artifacts will take you time, especially for the sponsored events, right? So think about these sponsored events. And this also comes back to managing your time and your time management skills with respect to the courses that we've talked about so far in the semester. So step one, what you first need to do is to do this ePortfolio is that you need to have a Google account. So you need to create a Gmail account or have a Google account already in existence. So if you haven't got a Google account, please create one. If you don't know how to create one, click on this hyperlink here, and that'll take you to the Google account. So once you've created a Google account, we can then create ePortfolio website. We're going to be using Google Sites for this. I use Google Sites a lot in my own work. I also design my own web pages for various aspects of different things. And we're going to do this quite simply. So I'm going to exit the presentation and just go click on the link here. I'm going to click on open link. And you'll see at the top of the screen that we have options to create a new site. And we're going to create a portfolio. So we may as well use a default template that Google provides with respect to this. So we're going to click on portfolio here. So, and it automatically clicks onto a new web page with respect to that. So we click that, we create a new portfolio site. Now it should look something like this. You should all have something similar to this, right? And now we're going to start editing this. And Google Sites super easy to use and it's relatively intuitive, right? So we're going to walk through some of the basics of Google Sites. We're going to use the remaining of the time of this week during the because this class is synchronous to start customizing and editing your Google portfolio site or ePortfolio site with respect to this. So, we need to edit and customize the web page, right? So you might want to customize your name, for example. So I'm just going to put my name here, Andrew Brooks, and then, it works like that. And you might want to edit this type of this. So, hi, I'm Andrew. What am I? A professor? You can say student. So, and obviously I'm not really good at spelling, but it does autocorrect for us. And from the university at both. Okay. And then just clicking on that, we can change that. You might want to also update the image, right? So obviously that's not me. So I might have an image elsewhere. So I can click on these three little dots and replace the image. And I can upload an image that I have somewhere stored. So for example, I might have an image that I already captured, which might be maybe this one. Nope, not that one. I know what, it's on my desktop, so just bear with me for 1 second. So I go to, I have an image of myself. I'll go to Finder, go to desktop. So you'll see how and then I'm going to choose this image. I'm just going to drag this image into my website folder so it's easier to show. So now I have the image I want to upload. I'm going to go here, replace image, upload. I'm going to replace it with the image I want to use, which is this one here. Press open. If you're using a Mac, it's going to be different. This is the image of me, so I can sort of have a more customizable website. So now, at least the ePortfolio looks a bit like me, right? And so it's gone from that to something like this, right? So you use the three little dots to replace the image and upload the image of yourself. Again, it's about marketing and showing who you are. So that's wants thing we start customizing this. We might want to also alter some information about ourselves. Remember, ePortfolios is to demonstrate things about who you are and what you are interested in, and other types of things like that. So if we went to the About page, so we just click on the About page here, we can have sort of an About page with respect to what we have. And I might not like that image, so I might have my own image that I want to edit, right? So for example, I don't really like that. I double click, again, 3 little buttons, replace image. I'm going to upload a new image, something that I've taken, an image I've taken myself, for example, which is going to be the globe, because I like globes. This is from Durham Cathedral. And I can move it in the center, so I might put it in the center, so I can move it around. I can double click on it. I can make zoom in or zoom out of the image. And you can crop, or you have the whole image if you want to, or not just part of the image. I don't like that the whole image, so I'm going to crop it again. So let's just make this a bit smaller. Sorry, you have to click on crop. I don't want to show the whole image, so I'm just going to shrink it again. I can shrink the image to show what I want. I can move the image around to get really what I want. And then there's that. You might want to add some text to this. So Google provides default things. So you might not want some of this information. So for example, I don't really want to show I don't have any clients per se, such as this, but I might want to say, add some information. If I don't want things, I can press a little delete section, right? I can always add things back. I can add a thing about, let's say, about. I can, if I don't want it in the center, I could put it into, move it to the left or to the right, move inside of here, or you can align any way you want, just like you would do in Word, for example, right? And tell some people about this site. You can say, hi, welcome to my ePortfolio site for Geo 199 and cities and specs. You can say, my name is Andrew Brooks, and I am a blah 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 blah. A professor. You could say I'm a first year student and my major is this or whatnot. If you're going to use this for promotional purposes, such as job for a way to promote your studies for potential attracting employers, you might want to add things like your work experience to this, your education, and so forth, right? So we can edit the about page to give people a sense of what's happening there, right? So that's one thing we can do. So, you can alter the about page to look something like this, like we've just done. We can edit and add elements to this. And then, at the moment, this website is not publicly available. We want to make the website publicly available. And to do this, we want to press the little publish button that you sort of see at the side here. So, and then if we go into here and say publish, it'll ask us, it'll say, we need to give the website a name. So I'm going to call this Andrew Crooks Geo 199. I'm going to call this 2 because I already created one for Geo called Geo 199. It has to be, the names have to be unique and with only certain characters, right? So I'm going to call it Andrew Crooks Geo 199A. Who can view my site? Anyone can view it, but I'm going to ask people not to actually put it into the search engines, right? You can choose that. If you want people to go Google your site, you can put up in the search engines. Don't click this box, but if you do that, you press publish. Now Google is going to publish that website. They'll say your website is being published successfully. You press view, it'll open a new tab. and you can go to the home page, and it's there. You can go to the about page, and the changes that you've made will be automatically shown there. Now that website now is visible to anybody who has the internet connection within inside of this, right? So now that's our ePortfolio basic website, right? We have a website, we've published it, and we can view those types of things. So, a precursor to this is the one I just sort of created here, right? So you can customize these types of things. Again, you can provide information about this web page, about yourself, and things like that. Now, we have to create artifacts. So we want to create 10 artifacts on this thing. So how do we go about creating web pages for this? So what we're going to do is you'll see that if we went to project page, there's nothing in there at the moment, right? But we want to recreate this. So if we went back to the editing thing and then go to pages here, you can sort of see project page. I'm going to rename that project page. So I'm going to 3 little dots and say, and yeah, sorry. You go to back to the projects page, you go to properties. And instead of projects page, I'm going to call these artifacts. So artifacts. So that's going to be my top one. I'm going to press done on that. Now you'll see that it's gone from projects page up top here to artifacts. So I have one page. Now I want to add some sub pages to that. I'm going to add we need 10 artifacts, so we need 10 sub pages. So artifact one, and I'm just going to copy that, press done. That creates the sub page. Go back to here, click here, add sub page. I'm going to call it artifact 2, and we're going to repeat this step 10 times. So add sub page, artifact 3, done. I'm going to add another artifact, another sub page. Sorry, this is a bit boring, but this is the ability to create different web pages for different artifacts, and then for each artifact, you can have a dedicated web page for that. So I'm gonna add a sub page again for the artifact 5, and then add a sub page, artifact 6, and add a sub page again, artifact 7. And this ensures that therefore you meet the requirements of having your 10 10 pages, right? Artifact 8, sub page 9, and 1 page, sub page artifact. Now I have created 10 artifacts, 10 sub pages in associated with that, right? So you should see something now similar to this if you're following along, where you've added your sub pages and you've created 10 artifacts with respect to those types of things. Next, we want to go back to the home page and start editing the home page. So therefore, when you come to the portfolio, you can easily see the artifacts that are going to be there. So what we want to do here is if we went back to the home page, so to go to home, we just press home here, and you sort of see selected work. You might want to, instead of selected work, you might call these artifacts. And at the moment, you have options. So Google gives you the options to, for example, upload images, YouTube, movies, slides, but we want to change that. So this is where it gets a bit tricky. So you just have to click on the image itself. We want to call each one sets file type. We want to make them all images, right? So image, update. Go back to here. Press this little cog setting, edit placeholder, and we'll call it image. Say update. And go back to the next one. Let's not close this. And again, you have to click on the one you want, get the little cursor, select image, right? Then we're going to do update. So now we've got this. Google's giving you some other things, so we'll delete this, and we're going to just duplicate this 3 times because we have 10 artifacts. So we want 10 different images for these things. We want to go back and delete the ones that we don't want. So we just want 10 different image placement holders. So now we have the ability to basically edit the placeholders for this information. And now that we have these placeholders, we might want to link them to the artifacts, right? So we might go back here and call this artifact. And that's spelled wrong. Click the autocorrect artifact 1. I'm just going to copy this artifact 2. What artifact 3. Artifact 4. Artifact 5. And 6. Obviously, I can't count, so I'm just going to duplicate this down one more. Artifact 7. Artifact 8. Artifact 9. Artifact 10. So now I have links to those 10 artifacts. I might want to link to the web pages themselves, these ones that we've created here. So if I click on the artifact text and use this little link icon, insert link, we can link to the artifact or the web pages ourselves. So we can do artifact 1, press apply. Click here, click hyperlink. I want to make sure all the text is selected. Click here, choose artifact 2, apply. Here, link, artifact 3, apply, and artifact 4, apply, artifact 6, or 5, apply, artifact 6, apply, and so forth, right? So you get the sense. Once you've done these changes, you can publish those changes to check that they work. If I say publish, it'll automatically publish. And it also shows you what you've done. I can view this website. If I view those things. Now, if I click on the artifact, it'll take me to artifact 1. That's created, but the page is dead and not there being shown because we haven't put any content in the artifacts yet. We'll come back to that in a little bit. The reason I got the no page thing was because of the caching issue with respect to those types of things. So we can go back and we can edit the home screen and link to the different artifacts that we want to do. Then we have to create those 10 artifacts. Those 10 artifacts can come from anywhere we want, right? So I'm going to show you how we can easily edit a web page for a couple of different types of artifacts, right? So for example, I might go back to artifact 1 here. And I might want to link that artifact to, say, for example, an article that I've written. So, for example, I've seen, so I go to artifact 1, there's nothing here. So I want to go to insert. I want to choose a theme. So you can choose the default settings if you want. So I want a picture and a title. I might want to call the title something like, I'm going to borrow something from my website. So I'm just going to go to my blog, and I'm going to go to this one's a good one. In silico mobility data science. So the idea is creating population trajectory data sets. So I'm just going to borrow some stuff from here. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm going to copy the title over. I might have an image that I've downloaded off the internet. So for example, I have an image, this image I quite like. So I might want to say save image as, and I'm going to call it slide 1, press save. I might want to add that image to the thing so I can upload an image. And it's called slide 1, and open the image into here. Of course, if I was doing this elsewhere, I might want to say add a little figure caption, say, figure one, this is, and where it comes from, but this is my one image. I created this image myself. I might not want the whole image, so I might want to just crop it or resize it. And again, we can do that using these functions. So crop, uncrop, and so forth. And then I might want to add some text about an artifact, right? So I'm just going to copy some text from something I've already written, you know. So I'm just going to borrow this text. Of course, I don't want you guys to copy and paste, but I just want to demonstrate how easy it is to like add information. But I don't like that lookout because it's sort of messy. So I'm just going to cut from the first paragraph down. I'm going to cut that. And then I'm just going to add a new text box. So Google gives you the ability to add things. You can embed things like iframes or things from YouTube. We can add text boxes. So I can add a text box and add more text to that type of thing if I want to inside of here. Similar to when we're doing the linkages. If I want to link to an external website, I can insert a link and then link to the text associated with those types of things. Just explore what's possible, really. You might want to add, make it look nice. So I might want to say add a divider at the end, and I might want to add some further information where we just find information more. So add a new little text box at the bottom here. And because, you say find the full reference would be an example of finding out more information. So I created, I can do that. So, and again, I can publish this once I've created this. So publish, it automatically now publish that information. If I went to view, I can see that artifact, and now I have a new artifact created, right? I can do something similar if I wanted to go to a new artifact 2. There's nothing in there. So I might want to create a new template again. So this one might be a UV event, right? And I went to a UV event by a professor from the University of Maryland called Sinead Farrell, and I might took a photo of that event. So I might want to upload the photo I took of the event. So it's one of the slides. I also took some notes while I was at the event. So I might want to open up the notes I've taken. So here's some notes I've taken of the event. So I might want to say, add some text. Dr. Sinead attended a talk given by Sinead Farrell entitled, and then I could summarize the talk that I've done, or I had some information already written, so I can copy that over, and then add a text box and just paste in, copy in my notes from the talk, and also maybe bio of Sinead as well. So that's one. So then I can publish that. You can easily create these types of things. Now you can also do other things. So for example, in here, I might want to add this time instead of settings. I might want to add, instead of this, I might want to add a YouTube movie. So if I, for example, if I had a YouTube movie of something on my website, let's see. If I went to research, agent-based modeling, I might have a movie of the various agent-based models I've created over time, right? I go to YouTube. YouTube's loading, so we'll just wait for YouTube to load. Sorry, mate, now it's actually being slow today. Again. There we are, now it's loaded. I might want to share this. So I go to share, get the URL, copy that URL over, and go back to the website, and then update. Now that I've updated to YouTube, I can then click on this. It'll ask us what do we want to do. So I might just paste in the URL of the YouTube link. If I enter, it'll have the YouTube movie I just selected, and therefore, and then give it a title. So for example, movies, agent based, these are agent based models. So I give something, give each artifact a meaningful title. Agent based modeling applications, right? And then some text associated with that type of thing might be useful, right? So for example, I have some pre-written text. So, I might, have some information, for example, add a text box. So add a text box. I might, give some concepts like cities are complex systems. This comes from my website, so I've already written this, right? These are hyperlinks to text documents so the readers could find out else information, and then add more information associated with this artifact. The idea is we can embed Google Slides, Google YouTube movies, Google Docs, you name it, we can add to this. We can find out more information. Sorry, that blocks on. Information about agent-based modeling. And where this information is coming from my website. So I can just say, copy the URL, go over back to the portfolio and paste in the URL and press enter, press space, and automatically hyperlinks again. I can publish that. So I've created 3 different artifacts, talks, things like that, showed how the images can be uploaded, how different things can be, how different things can be done. So we can create our artifacts. You can create your own artifacts based on different events. We can embed YouTube movies. I didn't embed Slum, but I embedded another YouTube movie. And also an explanation why you chose these artifacts, right? So a little summary of why you chose what you've chosen into these documents. And again, please use your own words. Don't just click and paste from elsewhere, because otherwise that's sort of plagiarism, right? You can also have links to further information if you want to, references, hyperlinks, and things like that. Then we've created 3 artifacts. Now we want to update our homepage to reflect these artifacts, right? So if we went back to the homepage, at the moment, these artifacts have 1, 2, and 3. So if I click on these hyperlinks, it'll take us to the artifacts. But we might want to update those things. So I call that slide 1. Press open. I might want to just move it around to make it look a bit prettier, to create a nice thumbnail. Artifact 2 with some talk. So I might go here and take the talk image and add that to the artifact. And then the other one would be maybe the YouTube link. And of course, or the post I had, right? So I might just take a screenshot of that. So if we remember, we changed them all to images. I just took a screenshot of that. And then I'm going to upload a new image. And that was on my desktop. So I'm going to desktop, use a screenshot of that. And that artifact is now done. Again, I'll press publish. You can sort of see, it'll show you the changes on the different pages. And now we sort of, if we went to the view page, you can see I've created the artifacts, and those things have been updated with respect to that. Now, we also want to edit the artifacts homepage to give people a sense of what is there. But also, one of the requirements of this ePortfolio is that you provide a short summary or synthesis of what these artifacts mean, right? So we can go back to the artifact web page and just edit the artifact web page. So we're going to go to artifacts, to the main page. So just click on that. And we can click on the little edit icon if we so desire. And you might want to edit these artifacts to give it some sort of meaning. So you might want a project name. These could be artifacts from Geo 199. Make sure you're spelling it right. You can give it a meaning of what's happening. So in the following sub pages, those artifacts that we created, you can find my artifacts from Geo 199, cities, and complexity, right? Spelled wrong, so I'll just fix the typo. Oh, typos, I could say. Now, I don't really want this, right? So I'm going to delete this. Um, don't want that, so I'm going to delete that. Any of these little buttons you can delete if you don't want. I might want to add a little divider between the text. And again, provide a summary of what you're doing, so so I pre-canned this. So let's see. Provide a synthesis of the artifacts. Um, these artifacts were chosen to demonstrate and they relate to course themes and topics covered in the class. But you can, this is where you provide, a couple of paragraphs summarizing how all these 10 artifacts link together. And you provide that information there. I don't want these, so I'm just going to delete the things I don't want in this class. So all the things I don't want, I just press delete. You can sort of see delete selection and delete selection. Go and delete the ones that you want to keep. And then you might want to add onto here sort of another text box that links to the artifacts themselves. So you might want to create artifact 1, which was a paper on mobility. And then I might create another artifact 2, which was a talk. So artifact 2, talk by Dr. Sinead Farrell. Might have another one, artifact. I'm just going to copy the paste. Nice thing is can copy and paste, right? Artifact 3. It could be agent-based modeling applications, right? Now I can hyperlink to these, so each page, add artifact 1. These are the pages I've created. Link to artifact 2, so the link. These are the pages I've created. Artifact 2, apply. Spell modeling correctly. Sorry, I'm not very good at spelling. Link to artifact 3, and again, press apply. You can sort of keep doing this, right? So you can do artifact 4, etc., right? So you can link to all these different artifacts, and then press publish, and then press publish again, and then it updates the websites for you, right? So we can create this. So the key thing is that you provide a summary of this. Last thing you want to do is probably go back to the home screen and alter the email address. So if you were using this for trying to as a tool for promoting yourself, you might want to say how do people get in contact with you and get in touch. So it'd be atcrux at buffalo.edu. And again, press publish, and that information is sort of published available, right? So we can create lots of different things from this. You can also customize the template. I'm using the default template, but you can sort of see you have different themes. I'm using a simple theme at the moment, but if I don't want a simple theme, I might want to use the impression theme, right? And you can sort of see how it's being demonstrated, altered. You might also want to change the fonts to a different color within this thing. Or I might want diplomat theme or Aristotle theme. You can sort of see how the colors are changing, the headings. So, for example, like the section heading, they're changing, and you can basically customize these as much as you see fit, right? Whatever is most appealing to you. In that sense, I like black, so I'm going to use the black here. I don't want this, I'm going to delete that. But you can customize your template with respect to how this works. But eventually, you'd have 10 artifacts in this, a summary of those types of things. Every time you make changes, make sure you publish those changes, and those things are therefore kept in the system associated with that. So you can customize your ePortfolio using the themes. You can add things like dividers between sections. You can add image carousels if you so wish. You can link to your social media profiles or whatever, however you want to do this. But basically, create an ePortfolio using Google Sites that has 10 artifacts and has a similar type of format or layout of what I've got. You can use whatever template or themes that you so desire. Remember, this is due on November 25th at 5 p.m. And it has to be 10 artifacts. One of them has to be a UB event. Now, I want to talk about those things in a bit more detail. So, grading, that's what matters, right? Remember, this is worth 10% of your final grade. So please don't submit this late. If you don't have any artifacts, you get 0 points. If you have all your artifacts, you get 50 points. You have to demonstrate that you've gone to a UB event. So if you don't go to an event, you get 0 points. If you only provide a very short summary, I went to an event football game. Oh, football game doesn't count. It has to be like I went to a talk and that was it. That you might get it, that's a problematic grade. But if you give a detailed summary, like half a page, 1 page write-up, I'm okay that and maybe some photos or whatever, that's great, right? It will give you 10, it'll give you full points. That's synthesis on the artifacts webpage, on the artifacts main page. A short summary gets you 5 points. A detailed summary, like a couple of paragraphs, synthesizing how these artifacts link together, full points. Playing around with the portfolio, making sure that you have the footer's being changed, your email, your navigation is there, you have your artifacts, things like that. If it's not very appealing, if we've got nothing there, we'll get nothing. If you have some limited changes, then you didn't really take full use of all the functionality that I started demonstrating today, you get 5 points. And if you've customized it, it's visually appealing, you have nice images, for example, like these types of things here, you'll get your full points on those types of things. So, and I should mention, at the moment, you should be working on case study 1. Case study 2 will be introduced in a couple of weeks before the deadline. You can use the 2 case studies as artifacts if you'd like. So you can put those directly into your Google's ePortfolio website if you so desire. So that's okay, and I'm okay for you to do that. So case studies can be used as artifacts. And okay, how do you find out about what's happening online or about cities and complexity? There's a lot of university resources available here. So we can use things like if you want to look at newspaper articles about cities and what's happening around us, there's Factiva, access to New York Times, for example. It has lots of interesting articles about climate change and cities and smart cities and things like that. But you can look at newspapers and access newspapers from UB. We can look at journal articles. You can search for journal articles. If you search, for example, cities and complexity, or cities or smart cities, and see there's a paper that you like, you can summarize that paper as an artifact. So utilize live University of Buffalo's resources. Where might you find information about events and upcoming things? We have the UB student newspaper, The Spectrum. So that has lists of things happening on campus. You have the news center telling you about events happening or news related articles, and sometimes these are often related to cities and things like that. Remember, the artifacts have to be related to the topics that we talk about in class. So recently there was an article from a professor at the medical school. We talked about that in class about redlining and how redlining was impacting the health of current day Buffalonians. So that would be an idea of an artifact from a thing. We can find seminars that are happening all over campus. So, for example, the School of Architecture and Planning have a seminar series. You could attend one of those. That would class as your UB event. Geography, my department, has a whole bunch of seminars happening during the semester. So, there's one going to be happening on international trade. There's going to be lightning talks and PhD candidates. You could work out talk by Adam Wilson looking at bioscapes and how that's impacting. That's more of a rural thing, but it's still a UB event and can be linked to those types of things. Different colleges will have different things associated with them. So you can look at the events happening in, say, the College of Science, on the College of Science website. Also, social media platforms like Twitter, College of Arts and Sciences, or the Baldy Center, have lots of post their events and upcoming events. The idea of attending a UB event is that you become more aware of things going around on campus, right? So utilize the web pages and notices around campus, even flyers that you see on doors and things like that, to attend a UB event and write up a summary of that UB event. So for the remaining of this week, play around with ePortfolios and the Google Sites and explore these types of things. Mock up a template, titles, etc. can always be changed later. If you find good resources, you might want to share those resources to other people, like UB events. You can use a class forum for that. Those class forums are found under assessments and discussions, and then there's a class forum that you can post things to there. Remember, I'd say if you don't like the titles, and what I should have said, the artifacts, you can change those titles if you wanted to. You can go to the pages, you can go to artifact, go to properties, and it'll call artifact one. If I like artifact one paper, it automatically updates it. So now it'll be artifact one paper, for example. And then you see how that's being updated. So you can easily alter things. Anyway, on Wednesday, I'll have a Zoom session during class time. You can ask me any questions with respect to case study 1 or to the UB Learned. Otherwise, I hope that you can follow along this. If you have any questions, please ask me those questions, and I'm more than happy to help you.